Hello, and welcome to What is Crypto? I'm Matt, and this is Crypto. Today I'm going to be talking to you about KASPA, ticker signal KAS, but more specifically looking at the KASPA and Bitcoin pairs. So why I'm talking about this, as KASPA has just broken out of this massive descending triangle that it's been in since the 18th of November. Now what the Bitcoin pairs indicate, if you're not familiar, is really just the comparison of Bitcoin to whatever pair you're teaming it up with. And so on this chart, we can see here the price of KASPA started to absolutely rip. And since then, since around the 18th of November, the price of KASPA comparatively to the price of Bitcoin has been bleeding. So the price of Bitcoin has been increasing and the price of KASPA comparatively hasn't been growing as much. Now, I'm super bullish on KASPA and I'm really liking what I'm seeing at the moment. What I've been charting for quite a while is this KASPA Bitcoin pair. So I have been looking at it and I did note that we were coming into a really strong range. Now we have broken up through that. And after this, I do expect there to be some volatility to the upside. It's definitely not the chart I look at most often when looking at KASPA. I usually just look at the normal KASPA to USDT chart. And at the moment on this chart, I am seeing we have a huge amount of strength at around the 11-cent mark. I do have this marked as my entry point in case we do get any wicks down. Although barring a massive crash to Bitcoin, I don't see this happening. If Bitcoin were to have a large retracement, then I think it's a price that we might get. But currently Bitcoin's looking really good. And although it wouldn't surprise me if we did get some volatility to the downside, with my low point target being really around the 57K, I don't necessarily see that happening. Now, I wouldn't be surprised for us to chop around a bit, really until Bitcoin shows its hand. So the levels that I'm really looking out for are the 73K mark for Bitcoin. Once Bitcoin can hold above that, retest that 73K mark and push again above it, that will be my indicator that the market is looking really bullish. If Bitcoin loses the $60,000 mark, really kind of making lower lows under the 60,000, down under the 57,000, then I might have some more bearish views on the short term. But currently, I'm really waiting to see whether or not Bitcoin breaks down below 60 or whether it rallies up and pushes over the 73K mark. If you're unaware, all altcoins follow the path of Bitcoin. KASPA, similarly to most altcoins at the moment, is also following Bitcoin. Bitcoin is having a little bit of a relief rally, and so is KASPA. The KASPA Bitcoin pair is something that I'm looking at, and it's something that I think shows a huge amount of promise. I think we do see this break to the upside, and that's what we want. Me personally, I really want to measure my worth in the amount of Bitcoin that I hold, not necessarily the amount of US dollars or the amount of Australian dollars that I hold. AUD in my instance, as I am an Australian, but I do measure most things in US dollars just because US has the largest market, so it makes the most sense to do that. I want to measure my own worth in the amount of Bitcoin that I hold, and hopefully one day in the amount of KASPA that I hold. So it's really important when you're investing in an altcoin to see an increase in the value of it comparatively to Bitcoin. And I know this has been trending down over the past few months, but before you get too concerned, note that over the many months before that, it was trending in the upward direction. It also has broken resistance in this descending triangle pattern. And note that altcoin season hasn't started. In a video the other day, I covered Bitcoin dominance, although I would recommend having a look back at my other video, which talks about KASPA and Bitcoin dominance. But anyway, today, just quickly covering it, these yellow vertical lines mark the Bitcoin halving, and this chart marks Bitcoin dominance. As you can see, after the Bitcoin halvings, Bitcoin dominance decreases. Now, what that means is that the price of Bitcoin relative to altcoins decreases. So altcoins in effect outpace the price growth of Bitcoin. In this period of time, Bitcoin's price is increasing, but it's just the general altcoin market sees price growth far exceeding that of Bitcoin. We did see this in 2016. A few months after the halving, Bitcoin dominance decreasing sharply. We also saw this in 2020 with a few months after the Bitcoin halving, Bitcoin dominance decreasing. Now this indicates altcoin season and indicates the parabolic growth that if you have been around in an altcoin season, you'd be all too familiar with. And if you haven't been around in an altcoin season before, I'm sure you've heard a lot about. So why I'm mentioning this is that despite the KASPA Bitcoin pair, we are not in altcoin season yet. And we have also broken this negative trend. So I do expect KASPA's price to increase, and I do expect from here on out, or especially over the next few months, for the price of KASPA to start outpacing that of Bitcoin. As at the end of the day, if whatever you're investing in has a slower price growth than Bitcoin, then maybe you're backing the wrong horse, and maybe you should instead just be investing in Bitcoin, which is at the end of the day the safest crypto to be investing in. KASPA though, I think is looking really good at the moment. It's looking really strong on the chart. It's got a great amount of support around the 10.8, 10.9. And I really don't think that we are going to push too much below that. We have a huge amount of support really all the way down to the high nines. It'd take some hugely bearish market conditions for me to see us breaking below the 10-cent mark, but I do expect to see the Bitcoin KASPA pairs increasing in the future. This is something I'm going to be continuously covering, and it's going to be something that I will mention more frequently in the future. So if you're interested in charting the KASPA Bitcoin pairs, then make sure you drop a comment down below. Let me know. Also follow the channel as I'll be covering it quite regularly. Awesome. Thank you so much for watching, legends. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you in the next one.